Corruption-accused Supra Mahumapelo resigns as Premier of the North West. What next for the embattled province? We'll go live there in just a moment. It's a municipal mess. Irregular expenditure has ballooned by 75% over the past financial year. And in sport cricket, South Africa shocked at the news that Proteas star De Villiers is retiring from international cricket. This is eNews at 8. I'm Sally Burdett. Good evening. To our top story, Supra Mahumapelo has resigned as North West Premier following weeks of calls for his removal. While he stepped down as Premier, he remains the ANC chairperson in that province. Let's take a look at what has led up to this point.
It all started with allegations of corruption from both the opposition parties as well as the Northwest Business Forum. Supra Mahumapelo was accused of enriching his friends and family members through government tenders. His business interests also came into question. In April, a vote of no confidence tabled by the EFF against Mahumapelo was postponed. The party said it was left with no choice but to call for Mahumapelo's removal. After the Northwest legislature failed to remove him, residents took to the streets demanding Mahumapelo's resignation. Mahumapelo had always denied being corrupt.
For all the years I've been in the organization, from the time when I was the provincial chairperson of the Youth League, people have been making allegations against me. None of those allegations have been proven true.
Following violent protests and looting of shops, Wendy Nelson was appointed as acting premier. The province was also put under administration of the national government. An interministerial task team led by Dr. Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma was sent to the province.
The JCPS is investigating, and they are going to then charge whoever needs to be charged.
Mahumapelo became premier on the 21st of May 2014, succeeding Thandi Modise. 4 years later, he's tendered his resignation.
As one embarks on early retirement from the position of premier in the province,
opposition parties as well as Nehawu have welcomed his resignation.
Well, our reporter Michael Apple is in Mahikeng this evening. Good evening to you, Michael. That announcement came at around lunchtime today. What are the people of the Northwest saying?
Well, cautiously optimistic, Sally. I think overall the announcement at midday today by the former Premier now is welcomed. It's something that the people broadly, alliance partners of the ANC and even the ANC, some sectors of the ANC itself have been calling for him to go. He has finally acquiesced to that request, and in whichever form it came, whether he was axed, whether he resigned, whether he takes early retirement, whatever he wants to call it, he is no longer the Premier of the Northwest. But of course that is simply a title, and that is what some are saying. He derives his real power from being chairperson of the ANC in the Northwest. But how long is that still going to hold? The ANC's National Executive Committee goes to a meeting this weekend where it's expected that the future of that PEC in the Northwest will be decided.
So does that mean that the Premier at the moment is Wendy Nelson? Who's in charge tonight?
Yes, initially there was a bit of confusion. I asked the Democratic Alliance, I asked the Economic Freedom Fighters, and I asked some of the ANC cadres here in the province, who's actually running the show at the moment? Because if Premier Supra Mahumapelo at the time appointed who is to act in his position, with him removing himself, does that remove who is acting in his stead? So there was some back and forth, and we managed to get hold of some legal experts, and they believe that it's a decision that wasn't challenged in the court or by a higher structure, so therefore Wendy Nelson remains the acting Premier up until such stage as the highest decision-making body of the ANC, the National Executive Committee, appoints their preferred candidate, which broadly, widely is expected to be this weekend.
Quick comment from you, Michael. This resignation comes on a day of dismal results from the Auditor General around the state of municipalities, the Northwest particularly problematic. Massive challenge for whoever is in charge now.
Yeah, you don't envy whoever's going to be handed the mantle to take over the premiership of the Northwest. I do believe the Treasury DG saying that 14 billion rand in fruitless and wasteful expenditure just in, I think, over a period of 2 years, it's increased to 14 billion rand. And that, of course, has required the intervention of national government. That is why a Section 100 was issued for this province. It was on the brink of collapse, and that is why national intervention was required. So I certainly don't envy whoever gets given the reins to take over here.
Thank you very much. That's our reporter Michael Apple in Mahikeng. Cautiously optimistic is the mood there, he says. Well, let's continue looking at municipalities. Troubling news today on the state of our country's municipalities. Irregular expenditure has increased by 75% in the past financial year. Auditor General Kimi Makwetu says almost a third of our country's 257 municipalities are on the brink of financial collapse. Fruitless expenditure has gone up from just over 16 billion rand to more than 28 billion rand. Eastern Cape municipalities made up the largest portion. The Northwest also had some of the worst run municipalities. Makwetu says urgent national government intervention is needed.
Prevention of unauthorized, irregular and fruitless and wasteful expenditure has also been another area that has preoccupied the reports of the Audit Office over the last number of years, as well as the glaring lack of consequences that were often absent when people had done wrong or have done incorrect things as they account for municipal finances. We have often seen that there has been little of consequence in respect of dealing with those people that transgressed laws and regulations in financial management.
Well, President Cyril Ramaphosa has been in office for almost 100 days. This afternoon he was in Parliament for the presidency budget vote debate. A number of important announcements were made. He's going to be contributing half his presidential salary to the Tuma Mina Social Projects Fund in Nelson Mandela's memory. The President also announced a commission of inquiry to probe the Revenue Service. On the land issue, the President called on municipalities to hand over unused land so people can build their own houses.
Municipalities and state-owned enterprises need to release unused land and service sites for housing so that our people must have houses, so that they also do not resort to self-help measures through the illegal occupation of land. We condemn illegal land occupation.
Now, the EFF was not happy with the President condemning land occupations.
President, I came here and told you are bluffing about the land, and now you are wishy-washy and saying all manner of things. It's clear you are not going to expropriate land without compensation. But I need to tell you that we had issued an instruction in the EFF for people to scale down the occupation of land because we wanted to give you time. But since you are no longer clear, we have made a call, and we make it even here, for our people to occupy the unoccupied land. It is their land, because the ANC is not going to give them land anytime soon.
Well, that ultimately led to the Deputy Speaker of Parliament, Lechese Tsenodi, ordering EFF MPs to leave the National Assembly.
You will leave the House gently on your own, members, because it is better that way, yeah.
You can stay on your seat and preside over the whites of the DA because you want just to impress them. You are useless.
Well, more news after the break, and a bloody day in Brakpan leaves 4 people dead in a taxi dispute. It was a day of bloodshed on the streets of Brakpan. 4 people, including 2 taxi drivers, were gunned down. 7 people have been injured. 7 other people have now been arrested. Police say a convoy of taxis arrived at the office of the Greater Brakpan Taxi Association before the violence broke out. Taxi drivers embarked on a strike yesterday. It's not clear what the grievances are. Gauteng authorities have now shut down operations at Sakani taxi rank in Kuruleni. The rank will remain closed until the security situation is stabilised. To KZN and Shack Dwellers Movement, Abahlali Basamjondolo wants a commission of inquiry to probe the killing of its members. The organisation's Ekukanyeni chairperson Fiso Ngobo was gunned down outside his home last night. Desanthathia reports.
5 shots rang out in this quiet settlement on Wednesday night.
That's when he said our ma was crying. I heard the gunshots, but double 5 times, and bengayitshela ukuthi ngabuyeni, but uthe masekhala kazama ukucisha amalayithi emnyango, kathi mangithi ngiyafika kuyena, blood was all over.
Under the cover of darkness, Sifiso Ngobo's attackers ran away and left him for dead. He was murdered just outside his home, and no valuables were taken. Ngobo was an Abahlali Basemjondolo branch chairperson, well known for fighting for land. Ngobo had apparently been receiving threats from a councillor, but brushed them off.
We've written a letter to the regional secretary of the ANC region in eThekwini. We've also reported these threats to the police. As like yesterday, it took 3 hours for the police to arrive at the scene of crime. Now, we've lost confidence, so we cannot actually report crimes to the very same people that are implicated, especially the municipality.
The eThekwini municipality has dismissed the allegations, saying they're baseless. A case of murder is being investigated. Desanthathia, Ekukanyeni in Durban.
In Cape Town, rubber bullets and rocks were flying as Parkwood residents and the police clashed. Authorities have been evicting people from land in the area. Leanne Jansen has the story.
Law enforcement authorities are locked in rolling battles with residents of Parkwood in Cape Town. The standoff has been ongoing for the past week, and it relates to a land invasion alongside the M5 highway. It's alleged that a group of residents, presumably backyard dwellers, had erected structures on the stretch of land. The city's land invasion team then came in this morning and broke down the structures.
The latest violence follows the destruction of more than 100 illegally erected structures. Community members are up in arms, accusing police of using undue force.
These people is really struggling over here. There is people in 1-bedroom places that is sleeping in baths. There is old people here.
My Down syndrome boy word rondgeruk. Ek word uit my eie huis uit geruk. For boys wat vir my neighbors se kinders is mos nie baie nie. Ek het 'n badge opgetel in my huis. So ek gaan weer stap in.
Alles kyk nou aan die kinders skool kom. Nou hoe moet die kinders nou huis toe kom?
Police have fired several rounds of rubber bullets while being pelted with stones and golf balls. Twelve men and 5 women have been arrested. Leanne Jansen, Cape Town.
International news, and we go to Hawaii, where fountains of lava are flowing 50 meters from Kilauea volcano. Lava edged towards the Puna geothermal power plant, destroying an old warehouse nearby. Now, the site provides about a quarter of Hawaii's power. It's been closed since the volcano became active earlier this month. Recapping your top story, corruption-accused Supra Mahumapelo resigns as Premier of the Northwest, but he still holds significant political clout as ANC chair. Sports news after the break. It's all about AB, and also the sports minister urges SASCOC to investigate the new IAAF testosterone regulations. Proteas stalwart AB de Villiers dropped not a ball, but a bombshell today. The 34-year-old star batsman has announced his retirement from international cricket. In a video posted on his app and Twitter account, the former national captain went into detail about his decision to exit the international stage a year before the 2019 Cricket World Cup.
After 114 test matches, 228 one-day internationals and 78 T20 internationals, it is time for others to take over. I've had my turn, and to be honest, I'm tired. This is a tough decision. I thought long and hard about it, and I'd like to retire while still playing decent cricket. And after the fantastic series wins against India and Australia, now feels the right time to step aside. It would not be right for me to pick and choose where and when and in what format I play for the Proteas. For me, in green and gold, it must be everything or nothing. I will always be grateful for my teammates, the coaches and the staff of Cricket South Africa for their support through all these years. It's not about earning more somewhere else. It's about running out of gas and feeling that it's time to move on. Everything comes to an end.
In other news, the Minister of Sports and Recreation, Dr. Xasa, has urged our Sports Confederation and Olympic body, SASCOC, to probe the IAAF's new rules on testosterone levels in female athletes. Last month, the International Athletics Federation announced plans to place a limit on testosterone levels for female athletes competing in events ranging from the 400-metre to the 1500-metre.
In the IAAF matter, where we have directed SASCOC to look into their information through their medical commission and challenge through ASA the outcome of their regulations, and if needs be, to even take it to the Court of Arbitration.
You're with us next, and then we go to Hong Kong to see what daring heights people will go to, all for a bit of good luck and a bun that isn't even edible.
Good evening and welcome to the Weather Center. We had lots of sunshine throughout Wednesday across much of South Africa, thanks to the cloud-free skies you see on this satellite picture. But in the southwestern areas, we stayed with quite a lot of cloud blanketing these parts of the country ahead of this cold front, which is set to hit our shores as we go past midnight tonight. Now, we're going to start off Thursday with a fairly heavy rains over the southwest coastline, including around the Cape Metropole. Then as the day progresses, it's going to be cloudy, rainy and chilly for the western areas of the Western Cape, and towards the evening the rain should spread eastwards and it's going to be mostly sunny for the rest of South Africa. However, we could see a bit of cloud over parts of the Limpopo province. Now it's going to be mostly sunny once again for much of the Northern Cape on Thursday. Temperatures staying stuck at the 27-degree mark for Upington and Priska, cooler for the southwestern areas of the province. Cloudy, rainy and chilly weather is forecast for much of the Western Cape, where temperatures will lie mostly in the upper teens. Sunny and warm, however, around Beaufort West. We stay with mostly sunny skies on Thursday for much of the Eastern Cape. A bit of rain in the late afternoon hours, however, for Port Elizabeth, peaking at 21 degrees. It's going to be sunny and warm for much of KwaZulu-Natal, with highs in the mid-20s expected for the coastal cities. We are going to see mostly clear skies once again across much of the Mpumalanga province. Hot for Mbombela, peaking at around 30 degrees. We could see a bit of cloud in places across the Limpopo province. Polokwane warming to around 25 degrees on Thursday afternoon. A sunny one is forecast once again across much of the northwest. Rustenburg and Zeerust both warming to around 27 degrees. It's going to be mostly sunny and mild to warm for much of the Free State, Velcom, reaching a high of around 25 in the afternoon. Gauteng will also see lots of sunshine on Thursday with a high of 26 forecast in Pretoria. Now on Friday we are going to have rainy weather extending from George into parts of KwaZulu-Natal, mostly sunny for the northern, central and northeastern parts of the country. Then on Saturday, a bit of rain for Cape Town and East London and also for parts of KwaZulu-Natal.
And finally to Hong Kong for one of the world's quirkiest festivals. The Cheng Chao Bun Festival takes place every year and coincides with the birthday of Buddha, the founder of Buddhism. A special competition for only the bravest souls sees locals climbing an 18-meter tower covered in imitation bread rolls. The person who gets to the bun at the top first receives a blessing of good luck for their family. Now, thousands of Hong Kong residents and tourists who visit the tiny island for the Bun Festival also watch a parade of children dressed up as gods and modern celebrities. Recapping your top stories this evening, corruption-accused Supra Mahumapelo resigns as Premier of the North West, but still holds some significant political clout as ANC chairperson in the area. And that's your news at 8. Take care. Good night.